Yeah, I think you already kind of used the right word there, which is culture. So it's really a culture thing. And and by the way, this is actually also true at Google, where especially in search, right? Ultra cash cow, you can really mess things up. You can really make big, big wins, but you kind of want to be sure about it. And so they had a lot of process, and it was basically as the engineering director for Google Search, but my job to proof many of these launches. And honestly, like the way I had impact was many of my peers, even sometimes to convey status, they would take like days or weeks to approve a launch. And my personal SLA was 30 minutes. So when I had all the data, I would just go and say thumbs up, let's go and get this out. And like in aggregate, this actually makes a huge difference, right? Like let's keeping the velocity up. But still you're at the speed of this like 100,000 employee company. It's going to be slower than a startup. I think in at the scale where Vercel is now, and I think this actually applies to many of our customers as well, is that we see first of all the culture of product engineering as the enabler. So and that it really comes down to ownership and the relationship of engineering to what you do, right? In the traditional sense, you often had engineering as being this function that is effectively a service function. It has to do something for someone, and this couldn't be further from the truth, right? Like at Vercel, we are engineers building a product effectively for ourselves, and so almost, maybe not always, like literally everyone in the company can make really high quality decisions by default. And so we definitely encourage that, and then have this ownership, trying to have a lack of fear and being empowered to kind of really get stuff out of the door. And then it's all about, you know, what I call micro loops and macro loops. So micro loops is how, how long does it take from me putting something in my editor to seeing on my screen? How long does it take something from me saying, okay, this is now good enough, to my colleague seeing it live and working, right? And all of these kind of things, okay, maybe it's only 10% faster, but maybe that actually makes a big difference because now I save them from looking at Reddit, right? And so that's the micro view. And then the more the macro side is where techniques like feature flags, for example, come into place, where first of all, you're not afraid to ship because A, it actually doesn't do anything because you haven't turned it on. And B, when you turn it on, you can always turn it back off. And you can then ship enhancement without them really being seen by everyone and so forth. So I think that's kind of the big space how you can like do fearless innovation at a very high pace.